kay aking tahanan. RD kasama sa aking pag-angat, tibayan ang loob at magtiwala sa Diyos. Better life.
May I request Pastor Sherwin to please lead our prayer?
And Father, we thank you because we know that you will continue, Lord, to bless us as we progress on this webinar. We just want to commit and entrust everything to you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Our first speaker for the first module will be on the introduction to the Safety Officer 1 training. She is a graduate of Bachelor of Arts in Agribusiness Management in Mindanao State University. And she also finished her master's degree in Public Administration, major in Organization and Management.
Let me just share my screen one more. So what I'm going to talk about is the overview of the occupational safety and health. So the objective of this module is that participants are going to articulate their appreciation to occupational safety and health implementation in the workplace, and of course to discuss the importance of various data and legislation. So gosh, going back to the objectives, dapat with this kind of webinar, dapat maintindihan natin how important the occupational safety and health implementation is in the workplace. What are the hazards in the workplace? Identifying the hazards and identifying the controls thereof. Sunod-sunod yan, from what Jack and Engineer Carolyn are going to share with you in the next webinars. So these are the factors that contribute to the occurrence of accidents in the country. So fall from heights is the predominant causes of accidents. Pagkakahulog, lack of supervision for workers working at heights. Workers lack an awareness of gosh. Workers have limited training. So of course, hindi naman lahat kasi alam kung ano ang occupational safety and health. Therefore, they have limited trainings. In fact, they don't have any idea what occupational safety and health is all about. And then there's a lack of training to the workers, and accidents report lack of relevant information. So minsan, nagpo-provide tayo ng accidents pero hindi tama yung mga reports na binibigay natin. That's why hindi nabibigyan ng hindi na-address yung reason kung bakit nangyayari yung mga accidents na yon. And then, lastly, proper investigations are hardly conducted. Okay? So, these are the common safety problems. Workers are temporarily and constantly changing. So, usually, may mga turnovers, So, pag may mga turnovers, ang nangyayari, naputol na yung engagement ng isang worker. Napalitan na siya. Akala natin yung pumalit sa kanya was oriented, pero hindi pala nangyayari. So there was a shortcut, Each site includes many contractors performing different types of work in close proximity to each other. Sabi ni Engineer James kanina, hindi ko alam kung yung joke na you should have medyo malayo yung proximity ninyo with each other because it plan daw sa mga girls hazard, di ba, sabi niya. So that is the same with occupational safety hazards talaga. So each site may mga performing different types of work, may mga contractors performing different types of work which are in close proximity to each other. So working surfaces, machinery, trenching, and scaffolding are constantly moving. These are actually for construction-based workers. Workers often do not have control over the physical hazard present on the work site. Walang control, pero hindi rin na-address dahil hindi rin alam paano i-control. Okay? So environmental hazards are often encountered by the workers. These include toxic gases generated as byproducts of combustion, dust from cutting saws, vapors from solvent, and noise from equipment. Ngayon, we need to understand that even yung mga offices natin, kahit madilim, nagtatrabaho tayo, kita natin, minsan may mga eye strain na tayo, no? Lumuluha-luha na ang mata natin. Those are actually work hazards, no? Pag medyo hindi well ventilated ang ating mga lugar, no? Lalo na sa panahon ngayon, merong COVID. If the area that you work is very damp or humid, nagkakaroon po tayo ng mga hazards, no? Physical, kumbaga, madali tayong mapagod dahil mainit masyado, yung mga ganyan. Okay? So those are actually hazards that sometimes we do not take notice of, but these are actually hazards that can be controlled and can be addressed by our occupational safety and health. Okay. So safety is a control of recognized hazards to attain to be acceptable, no? Kailangan natin ng safety. Sabi ko nga, palagi kong sinasabi ito, safety is non-negotiable. Hindi pwedeng mag-compromise when it comes to safety because pag sinasabing safety, buhay ang ating pinangangalagaan. Life, limb, property. Okay. So what are safety programs? Safety programs are activities designed to assist the management and employees in the identification, evaluation, control of workplace hazards. Okay. So what are the leading causes of fatalities, no? Fatalities in the Philippines? These are falls from heights, no? Yun, nahulog ka. Excavation from trench work, cave-in, falling of persons, materials, and equipment, and asphyxiation. Machineries and equipment, minsan, meron ba tayo dito? Printing press kasama. May mga, di ba may printing press ang RD? May mga packaging or something like that. In my previous work, meron akong isang kasamahan na nung pinupush niya yung papel kasi I came from a publishing house. Okay, so pinupush niya yung papel hanggang sa hindi na kasi gumagana yung clipper, no, doon sa kanyang machine. So nung pinupush niya yung kanyang papel, na-push niya pati kamay niya. And then, dahil naipit yung kamay niya, naapak niya yung iaapakan ka para mahulog yung magka-cut ng paper. So, his, parang tatlo dito na naputol din kasama dun sa papel. Okay? So, of course, these are actually accidents, no, that could have been addressed kung naging careful tayo. So, syempre, aksidente talaga yan. Pero, there are also what we call, pwede kasing maiwasan talaga ang mga accidents. Ano? So, cranes and elevators, overloading, lifting and carrying of loads, erection and dismantling. Pag sinasabi nating, sorry, so, pag sinasabi natin cranes and elevators, minsan pag sinasabing elevators, sinasabi sa sign sa elevators na capacity, 6 persons only. Tapos na mag-ingon nga, gamay man ko pwede ko pang 7, di ba? Yung mga ganyan. Tapos later, hindi na gumana yung elevator, na-stuck kayo sa elevator. Sasabihin niyo sira na yung elevator. Pero di ba, may something wrong kasi kung ano sinasabi dun sa elevator, that is the reason why there are instructions in the elevator because kailangan yun lang ang capacity or weight ng ating elevators. So of course, electrical accidents, electrical shocks and burns, contact with electrical lines and underground cables. Okay. So this is the occupational safety management framework. Okay. Dapat meron tayong safety planning, safety operation, control, and checkpoint. I will not dwell much on this, but dito tayo sa hierarchy. Okay? Alam ko may mga safety officers kayo, and this is very important because hierarchy is assessing the risk, hazard identification kasi yan siya. Hierarchy means hazard identification, risk and assessment and control. So dapat pagtuunan natin na ma-identify natin yung hazards and what are the risks, and to identify also the controls na gagawin natin. So hopefully yung mga safety officers natin in your areas are aware of the hierarchy. Okay. So OSH situation in the Philippines, sinasabi dito, 50% of work-related deaths occur in Asia. Fatality rates are 5 to 6 times higher in developing countries, and 320,000 other people die from exposure to biological risks. Okay, that is according to the ILO Safe Work Introductory Report in 2008. Okay, what about the Philippines? Ano sabi niya? The Philippines is the 12th most populated country in the world. Okay, and 106.51 million was the 2018 estimated population, with a growth rate of 1.72% between 2010 and 2015. Paano pa nung nag-2020-2021 pandemic? And during the time, nasa bahay lang halos ang mga tao. So more likely there will be additional growth rate, no? So the Philippine Labor and OSH statistics say that in 2018, ayan, there is 106.51 million Filipinos. Okay. Doon na tayo sa sa employment rate. Okay, this was October 2017. Of course, alam natin bumaba ito ng husto during the pandemic. But take a look at the labor force participation rate, which is 61.2. So there are a lot of jobs, no? More jobs were found in the services, agriculture, and the industry sectors. Etong 61.2% na ito, say for example, merong 94.3%. I'm sorry. This is my second OSH for today kasi kanina po nag-OSH din ako sa Safety Officer 1. Okay, that's why medyo nangangapa yung boses. So with the employment rate na 94.3, ang lahat ng 94.3 na yan, galing yan siya sa labor force participation rate na 61.2. What does that mean? Atin pong employable age is actually 15 years old above. Okay? So sa 15 years old above, lahat ng 15 years old below, hindi kasama sa labor force participation rate. Okay, so 15 years old above, sila yung mga nagtatrabaho na, naghahanap ng trabaho, or nasa trabaho pero kulang ang sinusweldo. Okay? So these are the people who have been looking for jobs. And with this, makikita natin na meron po tayong mga OFWs na 10% of the population of the Philippines at the total time. So 10 million, di ba, 106.51 million Filipinos, and 10 million of that are abroad or OFWs. Okay, so always, the safety commitment of the country should be 100%. Yan talaga. Lesser than that, no? Ang practice talaga natin dapat 100% safety talaga. Because lesser than that will actually give you a disability, no? Okay. So, in here, it says it is better to be careful 100 times than to get killed once. Ilang beses po ba kayo mamamatay? Pa isang beses lang. So it is always better to be careful 100 times than to get killed once. Okay? Hindi na natin, ano ito, ayoko na. Kasi, hindi naman po masyado ito. Okay. In our 2015 to 2016 data, okay, this is a data on Integrated Survey on Labor and Employment, or the IELTS. There were 125,973 occupational diseases. Karamihan dito, back pains, essential hypertension, or neck to shoulder pains. Ayan. Usually, minsan napapagod tayo, no? So, nagkakaroon tayo ng mga back pains. Kaya, from time to time, medyo may mga kasamahan tayo dyan na nagpapamasahe, laging nagpapamasahe, every week nagpapamasahe. Yung iba naman, ayaw magpamasahe kasi may hypertension. So, yung mga pinapangalagaan, hindi maputok-putok yung mga ugat-ugat. And then, we also have neck to shoulder pains. Issues and concerns. Bakit po nagkaroon ng bakit po tayo nagkakaroon ng mga back pains, no? Bakit po tayo nagkakaroon ng mga neck and shoulder pains? Because these are some of the issues and concerns regarding the OSH. Meron po tayong mababang low compliance rate to OSH standards or limited coverage of OSH standard, and the absence of strict penalties, no? Meron din tayong, minsan ang ating mga offices have fragmented OSH administration, outdated OSH standard, low priority on the OSH. I hope hindi ganun sa inyo. That's why I'm glad that RD, no, group of companies has conducted this OSH university. There are public apathy on OSH concerns, inadequate number of OSH personnel on site, lack of OSH facilities in the regions, and the weak enforcement of the OSH standards. So these are some naman of the emerging issues. Okay? Our emerging issues are that may mga women workers daw on site. So what is the problem with that? Diba? Pero meron din child labor. Yung women workers on site, hindi na masyadong issue yan. No, it's 2022. That is no longer an issue. But with child labor, medyo malaking issue pa yan. OSH in the informal sector, agriculture, schools, IT sector, etc. Kailangan bantayan, no? There are, of course, lifestyle diseases such as HIV, AIDS, smoking, drugs, or substance abuse. So question, sabihin niyo, ma'am, namatay po yung aming kasamahan dahil na-stroke po siya. So yung tatanong sa inyo ni Dole is that, may sakit po ba siya? Yes po, may sakit po siya, hypertension. Bakit siya nagkakasakit? Kasi po, palagi po siyang umiinom. Nagsasmoke din po siya. Hindi lang po alam kung nagda-drug siya or nagsa-substance abuse, pero nagsasmoke po siya and palaging umiinom. So those are lifestyle diseases. And when you die because of lifestyle diseases, hindi po yun work-related. Meaning, hindi po kayo mababayaran ng kumpanya because the reason for your death or passing away is because of your lifestyle diseases. And of course, there are OSH, migrant workers, seafarers, and etc. Okay. So these are the safety trends. It says here, in recent years, there is a trend for employers to pay more attention to safety-related matters than ever before. Okay? In recent years, nangyayari na yan ngayon, ano? It is a fact that more companies are embracing safety, perform better, and have higher retention percentage in their work. No, more companies are embracing safety and they perform better. No, the future of all industry is shifting towards augmented reality. So, ano yung answer natin dun sa mga issues and concerns natin? Now, the DOLE has the OSH legislation, administration, and enforcement, which says na under PD 442 or the Labor Code of the Philippines, no, meron tayong protection to labor. It promotes employment and human resources development and ensure industrial peace. Okay? So the Occupational Safety and Health Standards of 1978 actually medyo luma na po talaga ang ating labor code. However, there are a number of Republic Acts that may actually help you with your OSH standards and management and implementation of RA 11058 and the Department Order 198-2018, which is an act strengthening compliance with occupational safety and health standards and providing penalties for violations thereof, and it's implementing rules and regulations. Okay, so the OSH standards is based on the 198-18. So ang coverage nito, all establishments located inside special economic zones and other investment, utilities engaged in air, sea, and land transportation, and industries such as mining, fishing, construction, agriculture, and maritime. No, the rule shall apply to all establishments, projects, and sites, and all other places where work is. Yes.
Hello, ma'am. Please. Ma'am, can you speak English, ma'am? Kasi mayroon tayong national sa OFW na nakikinig po, ma'am. It's okay for you to speak English?
Okay. All right, sige. Okay,
Yeah,
but
we
then
have
again,
we have a participant from Papua New Guinea.
all right, sige.
Sige. Thank you, sir,
Okay,
for
so
that
this
clarification.
Thank you. This rule shall apply to all establishments, projects, and sites, and all other workplaces where work is being undertaken in all branches of economic activity, which includes those things that I have mentioned. Okay, so these are the OSH standards. Part of that is, I will just mention a few. In Rule 1005, it is the duties of employers, and based on the DO 198-18, the duties of employers, workers, and other persons, the Rule 1005 says the duties of employers is to equip a place of employment for workers free from hazardous conditions that are causing or are likely to cause death. So it should be a place that will not only protect the workers, but as well as address the issues of the workers when it comes to safety and health. Employers are supposed to provide complete job safety instructions and proper orientation to all workers, including but not limited to those relating to familiarization with their work environment, and ensure that, so far as it is reasonably practicable, the chemical, physical, and biological substances and agents and ergonomic and psychosocial stresses under their control are without risk to health. So when we say we have back pains, when we say we have neck and shoulder pains, those are actually things that can be addressed by an ergonomical mechanisms that the company can actually purchase or give priority to. Okay. So also, employers are supposed to use only approved specific set of standards of devices. So you use PPEs that are of quality. Okay, we don't buy PPEs from fly-by-night stores or cheap stores. We only buy those that have excellent quality, because it actually is for your protection. Therefore, as I have said earlier, safety is non-negotiable. So the things that we do, our PPE is of quality materials, and it should be of excellent type. Okay. So the employers are also supposed to comply with all standards, including training, medical examination, and when necessary, provisions on protective and safety devices such as PPE and machine guards. Machine guards when you use machines, but in times of COVID, our employers are supposed to provide our workers with face masks because they are also part of the PPEs that the employer must provide. There is also a need for the employer to register establishment to DOLE as provided under the OSH standards. Okay. So if there are duties of employers, there are also duties of other persons. Okay. Any other person, including the builder or contractor who visits, builds, renovates, or installs devices or conducts business in any establishments or workplace shall comply with the provisions of these rules and all other regulations issued by the Department of Labor Secretary. Okay. So I'm going to share with you the kinds of risks that a company has to be identified. So there are 3 risks. Okay, so the first one is high risk, and high risk establishments are those that refer to a workplace wherein the presence of hazard or potential hazard within the company may affect the safety and health of workers not only within but also persons outside the premises. For moderate or medium risk establishments, this refers to a workplace where there is moderate exposure to safety and health standard or hazards and with probability of an accident, injury, or illness if no preventive control measures are in place. Of course, we also have low-risk establishments. This refers to a workplace where there is low level of danger or exposure to safety and health hazards. So for example, an RD pawn shop is one that has low level of danger or exposure to safety and health hazards. Therefore, it is considered a low-risk establishment. What about our canning factories? Our canning factories are actually high-risk establishments because there is a potential, no? There is a bigger potential of hazard within the company that may affect the safety and health of workers, not only within but also outside. Why? There are some companies or canning companies that use machines. Okay, so therefore, when you use machines, some of these machines are actually using petrochemical products. Of course, there are also some construction being done in the premises of the establishment. And of course, we also have a lot of workers in the company that, say for example, if you are inside a storage company or a cold storage company, of course, we have the use of ammonia, we have the use of chemicals, and those are actually high risk to the workers. So those are just examples of establishments or level of risks in an establishment. So DO 198-2018 says we need safety officers. So in the implementation of OSH program, the required safety officer shall be employed or designated with the following duties and responsibilities. So oversee the overall management of the OSH program in coordination with the OSH committee, frequently monitor and inspect any health or safety aspect of the operation, assist government inspectors in the conduct of safety and health inspection, and if in case there are accidents, issue work stoppage order when necessary. So these are the functions of a safety officer. First one is to act as the employer's principal assistant and consultant in the application of programs to remove the hazards from the workplace and correct unsafe work practices. A safety officer is a person engaged in the prevention of accidents, incidents, and events that harm people, property, or the environment. He is also the one who applies the expertise gained from a study of safety sciences, principles, and practices, and from professional safety. Okay, the primary duty of a safety officer is the prevention of harm to people, property, and environment rather than responsibility to responding to harmful events. So it is always much better to inform the people on how they can prevent harm, no, to people, property, and the establishment or the environment that they work with, rather than being responsible for responding. It's a better choice to prevent people from getting harmed, no, from getting harmed or from endangering themselves than to responding to events that lead to their harm. Okay, so by controlling human performance, machine performance, and physical environment. So it only shows that when you have a safety officer, your safety and health committee is at work. So as a safety and health committee should have a secretary who will prepare minutes of the meeting, report status of recommendations made, notify members of the meetings, submit to the employer a report of the activities of the committee, including recommendations made, conducts investigation of accidents, coordinates all safety and health trainings. Yeah. Okay. So these are the safety officer roles in promoting a safe workplace. So site planning, medical services, supplies, housekeeping, drinking water and washing facilities, health and sanitation. These are just some of the things that you need to provide your workers to give them a safe workplace. Okay. So maintaining workers and employers' concern for safety and health, you need to have positive approach, give them incentive schemes and awards, education and training, safety publicity, and of course, we also have the negative approach. The negative approach says you have to give them disciplinary action program. Okay. One example of a negative approach is when workers have been consistent in not following the use of PPEs. So when you see that these workers who do not follow the policy of using the PPEs, you already know that these people will harm themselves if they continue to do that. Therefore, give them disciplinary action program, whether they be sanctioned with a suspension or give them a memo to answer for what their violations have been. Okay. For incentive schemes and awards, the Department of Labor and Employment has the OSH Center, and this provides Gawad Kaligtasan and Kalusugan, which actually describes the awards, the provisions of Safe Man Hours milestone celebration. These are milestones for every 1 million Safe Man Hour, Safety Worker of the Month, those kinds of incentives like that, slogan contest, Contractor of the Month award. These are just some of the things that you can do as employers. Okay, of course, when we see these toolbox topics, safety awareness signs, safety handbooks, these are safety publicities, though. Safety news cutting, posters from DOLE, OSH, and the Department of Health. We have a notice board, we have a safety statistics board. So you know that your safety and health committee is working for you. Okay? So, for occupational health and environment control, the employer shall exert efforts to maintain and control the working environment in comfortable and healthy conditions for the purpose of promoting and maintaining the health of his workers. The employer shall also carry out the WEM, or the work environment measures, where hazardous work is performed, and shall keep a record of such measurement, which shall be made available to the enforcing authority. As mentioned earlier on, the WEM, or the workplace environment measure, shall include temperature when it comes to the dampness, humidity, pressure, and then of course there is the checking of lights or illumination, ventilation, and concentration of substances and noises. So the WEM shall be performed periodically as may be necessary, but not longer than annually. So RA 11058 is an act strengthening compliance with OSH and providing penalties for violations thereof. So it covers all establishments, projects and sites, workplace, in all branches of economic activity, but subject to the appropriate standards of OSH based on the number of employees, nature of operation, and the risk of hazard involved, as determined by the Secretary of Labor. So we have our workers' right to know. These are the things that you need to know. All workers have the right to know what are the hazards, what are the controls in safety and health of the workplace that they belong to. So DO 198 also says that there must be safety and health trainings. All safety and health personnel shall undergo the mandatory training on basic occupational safety and health for safety officers as prescribed by the DOLE. So all workers shall undergo the mandatory 8-hour safety and health seminar as required by DOLE. All personnel engaged in the operation, erection, and dismantling of equipment and scaffolds, structural erections, excavations, blasting operations, demolitions, confined spaces, hazardous chemicals, welding, and flame cutting shall undergo specialized instruction and training on the said activities. Of course, we have the duties and rights of employers, workers, and other persons in solidary liability. So workers' right to refuse unsafe work. The worker, if I have mentioned earlier that there are the workers' right to know, but we also have the workers' right to refuse unsafe work when, without threat or reprisal from the employer, if as determined by the DOLE, an imminent danger situation exists in the workplace that may result in illness, injury, or death, and corrective actions to eliminate the danger have not been undertaken by the employer. So for example, a danger or an accident has occurred in a workplace. If an accident has occurred in a workplace and it has not been reported to the Department of Labor and Employment, a worker has the right to refuse work because that accident has not been reported, and the imminent danger situation has not been abated, meaning there is still danger in that workplace and may result in illness, injury, or death. So therefore, it is the duty of the safety officer to provide information to all the workers that the danger has been abated, the accident is no longer present, or the reason for the accident is no longer present. And it will ensure that there is already a safe workplace. So there's workers' right to personal PPE. It says here that every employer, contractor, or subcontractor, if any, shall provide his or her workers free of charge PPE for any part of the body that may be exposed to hazards, and protective shields whenever necessary by reason of the hazardous work process or environment. So for covered workplaces, in case of a contractor or subcontractor, A safety officer must be deployed at each specific area of operations to oversee the management of the safety and health program of its own workforce. Okay? So if there is one or two teams or parties that will cover a work for you, cover a job, the employer, project owner, a general contractor, or subcontractor, if any, and any person who manages, controls, or supervises the work being undertaken shall be jointly and solidarily liable for compliance with this act. So the DO 198/2018 tells us that there is a up to an amount of 100,000 will serve as an administrative penalty for the erring employer for every day of non-correction of violation, counted from the date the employer or contractor is notified of the violation or the date the compliance order is duly served on the employer. So these are the prohibited acts and its corresponding penalties. So when your company is not registered to DOLE, it is being sanctioned with 20,000 penalty. Non-provision, no? Non-provision of job safety instruction or orientation prior to work is penalized with 20,000. Non-provision of workers training, first aid, mandatory workers training, or the safety officers and health personnel training, penalized by 25,000. Non-provision of safety officer, 35,000. Non-establishment of a safety and health committee, that's also 35,000. Okay. So, for example, you have not provided your companies with your employers with PPEs, or you are charging the PPEs to workers, that is penalized with 30,000. So, if in case that you have not provided your workplace with safety signages and devices, that is punishable with 50,000 and all others. Okay. So these are the OSH management system. Okay, I will no longer discuss this. Okay, so let's go back to the prohibited acts and its corresponding penalties. It says here that these mentioned violations are actually being punished or being penalized if there is willful failure or refusal of an employer, contractor, or subcontractor to comply with the following OSH standards or with the compliance order issued by the Secretary of Labor and Employment. So when you say willful failure or refusal, so when you say that, when do you say that it is willful failure or refusal of an employer? Inspects or conducts inspection to the workplaces. And when they inspect, they actually check if the establishment has been registered to DOLE. Does it provide job safety instructions? Does it provide training for safety officers? Do you have a safety and health committee?
Module 2 is about understanding OSH. So before we'll start, we'll discuss first yung objectives natin. So the first objective is to, at the end of the module, participants should be able to discuss
Excuse me, sir.
basis OSH. Yes? Yes, sir.
Ang tawag dito yung
slideshow na lang natin.
yes, para mas malaki po yung screen.
Okay, sige, sige.
Slideshow
Sige.
na lang. Alright, thank you.
Okay, sige. So again, at the end of the module, participants should be able to discuss basic OSH concepts that they can apply at their workplace. And at the end of the session, participants will be able to first discuss the various theories and or models of accident causation, define work accidents, differentiate and identify the causes of accidents, and lastly, identify the goals of safety management. Okay, so first, what is an accident? So an accident, based on the OSHA definition, is an unplanned event that results in personal injury. So there are two components in its definition. First, it is an unplanned event. So of course, nobody wants it to happen. And next, that it caused injury to a person. Okay. Now that we have identified what is an accident, the next question we're going to ask is, why do accidents happen? So is it because the heavens will it so? Oras niya na? Tadhana niya ng maaksidente? Is it because it is innate in his work that accidents do happen? Kasama lang talaga yan sa trabaho. Or is it because of ignorance? Tanga lang kasi siya. But here in Dole or in Osh, there are no real causes, but rather excuses. Okay? So it means that accident can be prevented. Okay? So next, once we know that accident can be prevented, the causes of accidents. So there are two causes of accidents. The first one is unsafe acts, and the next one is unsafe condition. So what is an unsafe act? Actually, there are two components or factors that causes unsafe acts. First is the personal factors. It includes inadequate physical capability, lack of knowledge, lack of skills, stress, and improper motivation. So let us discuss first yung lack of knowledge and lack of skill. So let's say yung tao, the person who is working has no sufficient training on how to operate a particular machinery. So if that is present, it could lead to an unsafe act. And unsafe act could lead into an accident. Okay? The next factor we need to discuss is the job safety factor. So this includes inadequate leadership or supervision, inadequate engineering, inadequate purchasing or maintenance, inadequate tools or equipments, inadequate work standards, wear and tear, abuse, and misuse. So this factor is related to the management, more on the management side rather than on the personal side. Okay? So the next thing that I'm going to discuss to you is the accident causation theory. Why do accidents really happen? So we need to dig deeper in order to understand why do accidents happen. Okay. So according to H.B. Heinrich, Herbert William Heinrich, we need to ask several questions before we are going to identify the root cause of any accidents. So first, let us ask why there were injury. So of course, because accident happened. So the next question we're going to ask again is why there were, or why there is, or why do accident happen? Because there were unsafe acts or conditions. The next, again, we need to ask again why until we identify the root cause of the problem. So why there were unsafe act or unconditioned? Because there is a fault or fault of the person. And lastly, why there was fault on the part of the person? Because there was an absence of planning and control. So the root cause to any injury or accident is actually the lack of planning and control. Okay? So this is the reason why we need to identify why do accidents happen so that we can address it immediately at its root cause. So as you can see, the domino sequence. So first, it starts with the lack of control. So if there are no control, so fault on the part of the person could happen. And if there's fault on part of the person, unsafe act and unsafe condition exists. And if there are unsafe act or condition, accident happens. And if there are accident, it could lead into injury or loss. So the two central points of Heinrich's theory is that injuries are caused by the action of the preceding factors, and removal of the central factor negates the action of the preceding factors, and in doing so, prevents accidents and injuries. So it means that if you want to address or to prevent injury or accident, we need to address its root cause. And its root cause is the lack of planning and control on the part of the organization. So once we identify that there is a lack of control and lack of planning on the part, so we need to make a plan in order to address these issues. So in making a plan, we need to identify where our hazards are coming from. So hazards are the things that can cause or can lead into injury. So hazard can result or can originate first from the person working. Of course, if the person working is not knowledgeable enough, hazard can exist. Next is it can result or it can originate from machineries. Okay, so if there are no proper guarding of the machineries, hazard do exist. Okay, and the next is materials. So of course, may mga materials or we have materials that are hazardous to our health, in which handling of it could lead into injury or illness. And next is methods. So if there are proper methods or the methods in executing a job is improper, it could lead into hazard and in injury. And of course, we have environment and workplace. So once we have identified what are the sources of hazard, we can evaluate the hazard. And once we have evaluated the hazard, we can control it. So dito na po yung pumapasok yung hierarchy, yung hazard identification and risk assessment and control. So first, we need to identify what are the hazard, evaluate the hazard, and control the hazard. So what are the example of workplace accidents? So na-mention kanina, Ma'am Sheila had mentioned earlier that the most common accident in workplace are falls. So falls from heights and falls from same level, slips and trips. We also have struck by rigid structure or sharp or rough objects, struck by falling objects, nahulugan, caught on in-between objects, naipit, electrocution, na kuryente, and of course, sunog or fire. So what are the cause of accidents? So ano po yung effect? What are the effect of accident? So first, we have the immediate cause or effect of the accident. So we know death, injury, pain, disease, damage, loss, and fear. And the next consequence or cause of accident is the short-term ones. So it includes the medical treatment, the repairs, the replacement, loss of production, increased cost, discipline, and low morale. And the long-term effect of accident is suffering, loss of income, disability, insurance, compensation, mistrust, missed targets, and profitability. So specifically, what are the cause or effect or consequence of accidents to the victim and his or her dependents? So first, we have suffering. No? So once we have experienced an accident in the family, everybody suffers. Okay? There's a loss of income because the person needs to be treated and he needs the opportunity to work and to earn income during the time. Effects on sports and hobbies. Given that you're been injured, it could lead that you can no longer enjoy what you've been doing. For example, if you love playing basketball and you experience some injury, so you can no longer play it. Or at least to some extent, you can no longer play it as much as you can. Also, you have extra expenses in the event that you have maintenance, that you have therapy session in order to facilitate or in order to treat your injury. You also have your continuing disability and the effect on general in the family. So next, what is the cause or consequence of accident to your supervisor? Okay, so of course, worry, reclamation, report, extra work, training of new staff, and loss of prestige. Because we know that at the end of the day, you are your supervisor's responsibility. So if anything happens to you, your supervisor would be the one who's going to be obligated to answer for the fault. Next, what is the cause or consequence of action to your section or department? So there is a loss or reduction in the capacity to produce and low morale. So the effect on your co-workers. So they most likely, most of them would be afraid to come back to work given that a recent accident or injury has occurred. So what is the cause naman? What is the cause or consequence of the accident to your company or organization as a whole? So we have the loss of earning, compensation, regulatory penalty, especially if it is proven that there is a lack of diligence on the part of the management. Penalty could be imposed. Extra insurance premium, loss of client, damage to the equipment and materials, and lastly, loss in paying in legal action. So yun. And then cause or consequence of the accident in the nation as a whole. So first, we have loss of income. So there's loss in income, there is loss in income tax. There's also loss in image and loss in morale. So investor will no longer invest in the country if they see that most of the industries in the Philippines or in our country are accident prone. So they will be discouraged to invest in our country. Okay, so the accident cost iceberg. So what we can see during what we can see into the effects of the injury or accident is only the tip of the iceberg, as they say. So we can see only the injury, the ill health, or the damage of property. But what we cannot see are the other indirect costs. It could be the lost time, extra wages, overtime, production delays, efficiency, cost of hiring, retraining persons, legal costs and fines, investigation time, excess insurance claims, and loss in business reputation. Okay? But at the end of the day, the real cause or consequence of any accident or injury is its effect on the family of the victim. Okay? We need to understand that at the end of the day, the victims, most of the victims are family person. They are the one who are supporting their family. They are the breadwinner of their family. Children are expecting their father to return home safely and complete. So we need to put this on our heart that the real cost of any accident or injury is in the family of the victim. So the next thing that I'm going to discuss to you is the goal of occupational safety. So occupational safety deals with understanding the causes of accidents at work and ways to prevent unsafe act and unsafe condition in any workplace. So first, the goal of occupational safety is to recognize and evaluate hazard, and next is to act and to control the hazard. As I mentioned earlier, the hierarchy, we need to identify what are the hazards and evaluate the effect of the hazards. And after we have identified those, we can control those hazards. So when I mentioned kanina, Ma'am Sheila had mentioned earlier, it can be through implementation of proper way of working, PPEs, and such. So occupational safety and health is a discipline with a broad scope involving three major fields. So there are three major fields under ARCH. So first is the occupational safety, next is the occupational health, and the last one is the industrial hygiene. So what is occupational safety? So occupational safety refers to freedom from accidents, absence of hazardous condition and acts, as I mentioned earlier. And while occupational health refers to freedom from illness and state of wellness, not just absence of disease. So OSH encompasses the social, mental, and physical well-being of the workers. That is the whole person. So what we're dealing here with occupational safety and health is not just the physical well-being of the worker. We also are concerned with his mental and social, especially now in our time in which mental health is gaining its track. And more companies are expressing and focusing their attention in maintaining the mental health of their workers. So notice, can accidents be prevented? So as we discussed earlier, yes, accidents can be prevented with the proper planning and control by hierarchy, by evaluation, or by identifying hazards and evaluating hazards. Okay?